RDTDaily.com presents a Tarabuster with comedian Tara Devlin.
What's up? All right, guys. I don't know what's happening with the camera. It doesn't look that good, but it might just be my face. All right. But I'm bump. Maybe that, I don't know. Something is wrong with it. I guess I'll have to invest in another camera. You know, this is what I'm talking about. It never, cha-ching, cha-ching. It's like, liberal media? Okay. All right, whatever. My name is Tara Devlin, and this is unapologetic liberal talk on the right side of history, decency, dignity, and democracy. And, I mean, just think about that. Don't those words ring in your heart? And doesn't it feel better when you're working, well, when your motivation, you're operating from a position of decency, dignity, democracy? Oh, it's enough to make you weep. And I do. If you're a regular watcher and listener of the show, I weep a lot. Did I weep last night? Well, I wouldn't call it weeping. So weeping is like, right? It's more, I weep when I'm alone. That's for sure. I weep when I visit Calvary Cemetery near my house in Queens, and I see the headstones of young men who gave their lives fighting fascism. I told you guys there's one grave I pass regularly that his name is smaller. Well, right on the headstone, it says in big letters, bigger than his name and every other text on the headstone, it says Normandy invasion. That's all you need to know. So this young man who gave his life, he died at the age of 20, storming the beaches of Normandy. You know, he's one of those, of course he's not one of those behind Trump, but, you know, it makes you think of the people that were lying in their cold early graves when Trump was in Normandy for the 75th anniversary of the invasion, which in itself I find offensive. That scumbag, that draft dodging, tax cheating, dictator wannabe con man was commemorating the people who he should keep their names out of your mouth, con man. And I remember that. Now it's all coming back to me, and this is why we're swirling the bowl and fighting a fascist coup that I thought January 6th would be the end of it. It wasn't the end. It wasn't even the beginning. It wasn't even the beginning of the end, Churchill. It was the end of the beginning. It was just another day in the insurrection. But him going to Normandy and using the headstones as a backdrop as he talked to the faux news propagandists, calling Nervous Nancy. Remember? They have so diminished us as a country, and they've diminished our community. They've diminished us as a country. They've embarrassed us, but they don't have the intelligence or the morality to be embarrassed. That's the problem. Because to be embarrassed, that requires a level of humanity. We get embarrassed. You know, Mother Nature programmed us with that emotion, the feeling of embarrassment, because it's a way we keep each other in check. That's what it is. That's why we have these emotions. That's why the oxytocin chemical is released when we give something to another creature, just like when we receive something, because we're in this together, you know? But the Republicans, I mean, well, the founders, in all their hypocrisy, of course, they were in it together with each other, the straight acting, cis acting white men. We're expanding the franchise, but the Republicans, they understand that their days are numbered. If democracy, if they meet normal people on the field of ideas, their days as a political party, as they are constructed or constituted now, they are over. Those days are, they would be over. They know that, and they don't want to. They don't want to change. See, there's a way to overcome that, and it's called democracy. It's called building the coalition, knocking on doors. Doing the work of democracy. Make your case, traitors. But they can't. They don't want to make the case because that takes too much work. They're lazy. Corruption, the corrupt scums are lazy. They want to talk about people who are lower on the ladder need to be taught the dignity of work. Somebody needs to teach them the dignity of work. Teach Matt Gaetz the dignity of work, please. Somebody. Teach Madison Cawthorn the dignity of work. Teach Marjorie Taylor Greene the dignity of work. Somebody. Teach her dignity while you're at it, too. Because we know, teach. What's the other one? Lauren Boebert. Just pick a name. Somebody better start teaching them some dignity. I guess the mic is too hot. Sorry. I lowered it a little. I'm listening to my own thoughts now, and I'm thinking, the Democrats, that's the way they need to fight. Right? When somebody goes after working people, they're takers. They need to learn the dignity of work. Well, what a different world it would be if Democrats said, who's going to teach the Koch bro, whatever, pick a who's going to teach Donald Trump Jr. the dignity of work, or Ivanka, who's going to teach her? I was going to say Ivanka Trump Jr. because she basically is. Somebody teach her the dignity of work. There's no dignity. Somebody teach them dignity. God damn it. Let's see. Well, I'll show you something. I'll show you dignity right now. Whoops. Wrong button. You want to see the dignity of work? Here we go. Oh, wait. No. I just Googled by accident Ivanka dignity and nothing came on. Of course not. Ivanka. Hold on. It'll be worth it. I swear. Oh. Where? Oh, here we go. Here's Ivanka. And modeling, I suppose, the dignity of work. What a... Oof. You see where we live, everyone? That's the daughter of the so-called president of the United States. The dignity of, the Jesus lover. Well, I guess now she's Jewish. She's a Jew for jewelry, in my opinion. She's not a Jew for any other reason. Jew for jewelry. And please, somebody needs to teach. Forget they mixed it up, dignity and work. They thought, but because of the Republicans and Trump in themselves, just the Trump crime family, have no dignity. So when somebody said, Ivanka, can you? We're going to do a photo shoot on the dignity of work. Can you show up and just help us by modeling the dignity of work for all these plebs that They don't know anything about dignity, much less work. Who's going to teach them? They're getting too uppity in between the three uniquely American low-paying jobs with no retirement security, or where they have to, well, they can't save $400. Ugh. That's okay. Imagine, all right. Let's play the game. We have to always do it. It's the different rules for different people. Imagine this was Malia Obama. All right, could you effing imagine? These Republicans it's pathological. It's unbelievable. Hold on. Well, why am I saying we'll be right back? We're not going anywhere. That's loud. Boom, bum, ba-dum. That's the dignity of work, everybody. And for people on the podcast who aren't looking at the screen, it's a picture of Ivanka leaning into a jackhammer in a bathing suit, a one piece, with her side boob. She's got plenty of side boob, and I don't know what the hell you're doing at a construction site. She's at an actual construction site. There's no, I mean, if you live in New York, you know, you're working around. Some parts you'll see there'll be the road will be ripped up. It's usually not the whole road because there's a lot of traffic going on, and that's why you see the boards there that cordon it off. That's what it looks like to me, like one of these side of the sidewalk construction jobs. And she decided, I guess, to show up one day, and at the guys must have had a field day with this one, and she walks on the rubble in high heels. What are you doing? It really is the perfect shot that personifies and just sums up the Trump crime family. Well, there should be money and blood flowing somewhere, and also a bunch of suckers. Just, I guess the suckers can be in the background chugging Trump Network vitamins. But it goes to show you how useless a Republican and, well, a Trump truly is. For who else would show up? I mean, I know it's just a photo shoot. She's not actually working. That would be a bridge too far for Republicans. This is what I mean. You show up with your high heels and your bikini. I mean, in your one piece and your side boob, to do what? To stand there and lean into a jackhammer? You can't even somebody put that jackhammer on. I wish. And watch her side boob become a full boob. And I'm not talking about her breasts. She's just a boob. This is boob. This is what they have done to this country. It's an embarrassment. If only it was an embarrassment of riches, but those go to the top. And that's why they have to divide us. We're going to talk about that. And before we do, I want to say thank you, Richard W., for your super chat. Another great show, Tara. Let's hope. I look very green. That's the camera for some reason. I couldn't find the settings. The rest of it is all me. I understand. Okay. And Jim, thank you for your super chat. As always, you mean a lot to me, Jim. You do. You're just seeing your name there, and I know it's going to be okay. And thank you, River, for your super chat, and thank you for your comment. Tara, you're great. No, you are. God damn it, you are. I mean, I don't feel great, but great. I wish it was great. I don't know. I should keep that. I should not talk about that. Sometimes I say things. All right. First of all, I have to. What is this thing that I'm doing? Not talking into the mic now. It's like a new thing I've developed. This is better, actually. It's probably better because you can't see my face. I'll do a show like this. No, I won't. You might want me to. All right. Become a patron at patreon.com/Tara Devlin if you can. Even at $2 a month, it makes a difference, because the more people we get to sign up, the better it is. You know how it is. And that goes for liking and subscribing on YouTube and everywhere else. And spreading the word. Join our Tarabuster Facebook page and blah, blah, blah. All that. Something is in my... Okay. Oh, thank you, JLJ, for your super chat. Yep. Work 50 to 60 hours a week for 50 years. Most of it labor I learned to love, but then get downsized before my pension. Well, that's horrific. And I'm really sorry to hear that. But here, this is what they do. Because you're nothing. We're nothing to them. It's about, well, why would they want to pay you a pension when you are... you're expendable. That pension needs to go to some Wall Street bankster. You know, a kickback or a bonus for some parasite. I have to ask, how much longer are we going to take it? Really? How much? And all of these stories. I'm really tired of being treated like nothing but pawns from which to suck profit and discard. And it's of course the Democrats have their hand. They have a part in this, and we talk about it too. But the fact is, that's why we're in an autocratic coup right now. They want it all. We've been saying this for years with Robin. When Robin and I, we ponder out loud, how much more do they want? I'm talking about Robin Kincaid, if anybody, from Head On. So if anybody doesn't know, so we would just ponder in the middle of conversation, what more do they want? How much more? And the answer is always, they want it all. That's it. They want it all. They had it all. I mean, they hate democracy. This is what it comes down to, because democracy, it gets in the way. It gets in the way of their laziness. They want to steal, and they don't want to have to work for it. Just like Kristen Sinema wants the Republicans to be able to block voting rights legislation and not have to work for it. Block the fixes to the Voting Rights Act that we were trying to pass, so people wouldn't have to show passports and have their fingerprints taken to register to vote. That's here's the thing. The corporate media talks about Republican. I mean, I know I'm a big critic of the corporate media, but they talk about the Republicans, or they'll talk about the whole Kristen Sinema blocking the filibuster. Oh, she's bipartisan. Excuse me, being bipartisan with the filibuster, and thwarting Joe Biden's friggin' voting bill. It's not Joe Biden's bill. But they never... Have any of you guys heard anyone on mainstream media talk about what the Republicans are actually doing in their voter suppression, their Republican dirty tricks? I don't hear that. All you got to do is say they are passing laws that... if this is in Arizona, you need a passport and fingerprints to register. Okay? That's okay for people? That doesn't sound a bit nefarious. In fact, I was talking to my aunt today and telling her, and she didn't know what was in the bill, and she is somebody that watches the mainstream media. Because nobody's telling us. Nobody's telling the American people this. We'll be right back. Hold on. What am I saying that? That's only on Fridays. Let me lower that. because it doesn't really matter today. It's just really for me now on these other days, so I can keep track of the time. And I'll probably just do a 2-hour show tonight. Last night we went long because I wanted to make up for the lost shows last week because I was sick. And I had a hard time getting to sleep, and I didn't have much sleep. That's probably why I'm whatever. And I want to say thank you, Shadow Star Ace, for your super chat and your beautiful little emoji with coffee. Cheers. And thank you, Errol Thomas, for your super chat. Why is it so hard for Republic clowns and their supporters to come back to reality? Well, I don't know. Let me think. It's because they haven't been in reality for a long time. Since Rupert Murdoch got his slithering, scummy clutches around our democratic process. I mean, he's the cancer all across the world. It's great that he's finally getting recognized for it. Other people are pointing it out, world leaders and such, like, of course, Jacinda Ardern. Let's see, who's the other one? It was the former Australian Prime Minister. Former Australian PM. Let me see. Rupert Murdoch. Yes. Accuses. Let's see. This is from the Huffington Post. Former Australian. I want to go to Australianton. It sounds like a good place. Former Australian leader accuses Rupert Murdoch and Trump of crippling democracy. It's accuses. All right? You can't go too hard on these fascists. You got to be fair. And both sides. I remember that. That was when? April of 21. But, oh well, it falls by the wayside for, you are fake news. Right? Or something. Or Giuliani dripping black flop sweat. And, I don't know. This country is really effed up. For example, it's right up my alley. Just before we went on air, I saw this. Of course, I always go on Twitter before we go on air, just to peruse. Because usually when something's happening right away, it'll pop up on Twitter and I'll just get an alert. But right before I went on Twitter, went on the air. Where is it now? Now I can't find it. Let's see. There was a story right at the top about, here we go. It was posted by Inside Edition, actually, which means that it won't probably, well, maybe it'll get more. I wonder what their ratings are and their demographics, come to think of it. But still, it skews. I'm sure it has an older demographic. I don't think the kids are watching Inside Edition, are they? But there's a story. I'll show you. Let me show you my screen. This is it, yeah. According to Erica Giduturi, Blue Cross Blue Shield won't pay for a liver transplant because the hospital where she was slated to receive the organ transplant is not on the list of, well, what they're calling blue distinction hospitals, meaning in-network. Giduturi shared her story with what the hell, Inside Edition. of course. I'll play it. Hopefully I won't get hit with a copyright thing, but whatever. We'll play as much as we can. If I can.
Erica Gidu-Tori needs a liver transplant. She's been diagnosed with a rare form of cancer, which affects the duct between the liver and the small intestines.
Are you scared?
You know, I want to see my kids grow up. I want to grow old with my husband. And
maybe pull yourself up by your bootstraps and cure your cancer. Get your own liver transplant, right? My body, my whatever, my choice. Well, I don't know. You're on your own. I'm just trying to let you know. Here in the United States of Serfs and Lords, you're on your own. Okay. Well, there's GoFundMe. You got GoFundMe, honey. All right, let's continue.
Holidays in front of me are scary.
Since August of 2021, she's been seeking medical treatment from radiation to chemotherapy at Emory University Hospital in Georgia. In December, she got the green light to be added to the hospital's organ recipient list. Except it turns out Erica says her insurance, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Texas, wouldn't pay for it because Emory is not on its list of blue distinction hospitals that offer transplants.
I was pretty devastated, honestly, because this is it for me. Like, we've been told that transplant is my best option. It's really kind of my only option.
Erica thought her insurance carrier, provided through the Zachary Group from her husband's job, which offers a self-funded health plan, had made an exception for her, since it already paid thousands in medical bills for treatments. Now, Erica's forced to drive nearly 6 hours south from her home in Forsyth, Georgia, to Jacksonville, Florida, to the Mayo Clinic.
Do you think you'll get on the transplant list eventually at Mayo?
That's my hope.
And in order to get on their transplant list, which could be about a week from now, she needs more medical treatment and tests.
It is so frustrating. So frustrating. I cannot even begin. I could have been listed for transplant as early as December 23rd. Per Emory.
Friends and family have offered to pay cash for the transplant, which could cost upwards of $600,000. But Emory University Hospital told her they don't take cash payments. The hospital didn't comment on the cash payments, but did tell Inside Edition, Emory Healthcare's top priority is to provide safe, quality care and treatment to all of our patients, and we advocate for our patients to obtain the care they need. Because of federal privacy laws, we cannot comment on individual patients. Erica's exhausted any other insurance options.
I've been told that we could, get a divorce and I would qualify for more.
Right.
But
vile. Get a divorce. Get a divorce.
The Zachary Group said in part,
you see, if she got a divorce, then she would qualify because she probably she's getting her insurance through her husband's job, so she's probably working on her health. So she doesn't have an income coming in per se on her own. She doesn't have her own job, so she should just go die. Why do we have health insurance tied to our jobs? It's the stupidest thing, and we know it's not cost effective. It's immoral. It's disgusting. It's unconscionable. It doesn't work. We pay more, twice as much as the next most expensive health insurance offered all over the world. We leave millions out. Millions declare medical bankruptcy yearly. Thousands needlessly die, like hopefully not this woman, because of the greed of the insurance racket. And their suggestion is get a divorce so Uncle Sam can pay. That's what they're saying. If you get a divorce, you will have no income coming in, so you will qualify for Medicaid then. But you can't qualify now. You have to get a divorce. Well, we're the country of family values or something. What about the families? What about the children? She has children. She said, I'd like to see my children grow up. I don't think that's too much to ask. I don't know, guys. How much longer? How much longer? How much longer are we going to take it? How much longer are we going to get to allow the greed of a few to stand in the way of freedom? Freedom. That's what they're doing. Freedom and democracy. They're on all fronts. These greedy ghouls are in our system. These parasites. That's what they are. We better get a grip and message that. They're parasites. Jeff Bezos is a parasite. Oh, he's great innovator. I mean, yeah, Amazon changed the world, changed the paradigm of the way we shop. He didn't do it alone. He had an idea, a bookstore online. Does that mean he gets to lord over the rest of us? No, absolutely not. But we have too many serfs in this country, and they're willing serfs. They're eager serfs, begging for a trickle. They want to be trickled on. It is pathetic. I'll do a show, or I'll say something about Amazon, and I will get comments and contacted by right-wingers. Amazon's a good job. You know, you're just jealous. I'm not. It's not about jealousy, because the fact is, if I were Jeff Bezos, if I suddenly was the person that came up with the bookstore online, and it ballooned into this, and it's also with the help of government subsidies and a lot other, there was a lot of dirty tricks involved of them squeezing the little guy, but okay, we'll get into that another day. But if I were Jeff Bezos suddenly, I wouldn't be, I wouldn't need to go to space to see the big blue marble to pay my employees a living wage. Really, there's something sick about them. It's sickness. It's sickness. It's hoarding. It's just another form of being a hoarder. But you're worse, because usually the hoarder they'll hurt themselves and they'll hurt their family and anybody who wants to help them, right? Like, you're affected by that. But they're not hurting society as a whole. They're not killing thousands, needlessly killing. They're not bankrupting millions. And it's another way they divide us. We're divided because of the greed of a few. And I got to ask, how much longer are we going to take it? I'm up to here with that. I'm up to here with the, just the selfishness, the bullshit. But let's finish up.
We are not permitted to comment on the health of our employees or dependents, covered in our Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Texas health plan. When healthcare needs arise, we work diligently with our members to provide support and information regarding coverage.
Exactly. I'm reading the chat, and Terry Taylor says regarding Bezos, he also had a lot of help from his wealthy parents. Yeah, of course.
Blue Cross Blue Shield of Texas said in a button.
That's another example of it's white privilege, of course, and it's invisible to them. They think they did it themselves. That's the way it is. I did it myself, like my little niece when she was a child, a little toddler. I'll do it myself. But that's not normal. It's not when you grow up, you don't behave like that because you learn the ways of the world. You're not a toddler anymore. But the greed, how much longer? I don't know. Until we don't accept it. It reminds me, just remember during the Black Lives Matter protests, it is really a case in point how the Democrats came out and they all took a knee and they had the, what do they call them, Kente clause or whatever. Am I pronouncing that correctly? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? The traditional scarves, and they took a knee for the photo for the photographers, and nobody wanted them to take it. Nobody asked, but they did it because that's the best they got. They have these displays of something. I don't need them to take a knee and display. Do a display. I'll do that. I want them to pass laws, but anyway, the point in this reference is, you see, they did it because people pushed. They didn't go home. They didn't take no for an answer. They really had them, at least these particular Democrats and the Republicans, had to give lip service to everybody believes in Black Lives Matter, of course, but all lives. They had to give lip service to. We all agree what happened to George Floyd was horrible, and I don't even think they would have to agree on that anymore today. They've really tipped so far in just a few months. But it's just an example, even though the Democrats, of course, didn't goddamn pass anything. But why would they? How could they? They don't. The Republicans are mean. They need to be nice to the Republican. Can you imagine the Republicans walking into work, quote unquote, that day, as the Democrats were taking a knee in the well? And could you imagine the laughter? Like, look at these idiots. Knowing how weak, how much it doesn't matter. Take a knee all effing day, if you must. But, pass some living wage bill. How about take money out of politics? Of course, that's not going to happen anytime soon, especially with Nancy Pelosi in charge. Anyway, but it's an example. We got to push. We got to keep pushing and never give up and never shut up and keep moving forward and challenging their greed. It's greed. And we're broken because we have one party that is a complete fascist party, and it's no going back for them. And we have another party that is, I guess, I don't know, they're not really fascist, but they like money. They like money. It's Kristen Sinema, Joe Manchin. They're living good. They're living high on the hog. Nancy Pelosi, all of these millionaires in Congress. How? What the hell is that? That used to be an aberration, especially in the House, because the House is supposed to belong to the people. That's the body closest to the people. The Senate is the the old men club. Well, Senate literally means old men. But the Senate is supposed to be, that's the House of Lords. The House is the House of Commons. It's supposed to be, directly, it's supposed to be more accessible to the American people. And it shouldn't be populated with how many millionaires? It's over 50% of the House members are millionaires. Now, that would be great if 50% of the American people were millionaires. But no, because greed is built into the system and it's broken. And we're in big trouble because we got one party who's a fascist party and they're in the midst of a coup, and another party pretending the problem is that they're going too far left. Okay, and in the meantime, we have to live in the civilization, quote unquote, that they lay down for us. This is why the founders fought, because, we know about George Washington. He was pissed off because they were cutting into his profits. He bought some land in the uncharted territory, and one of the laws that the king, whatever the hell the king decreed, was that the borders of British America would end here, and that's it. basically making Washington's land buy nothing, worth nothing. So, no taxation without representation. That's another story. I love the way, one of the things that the traders, the Capitol insurrectionist traders, say, it's like 1776. It's like the Boston Tea Party. Now, these people wouldn't know. They don't know a goddamn thing about the Boston Tea Party, except that, of course, the ones who participated in it were dressed as Native Americans. That's in a long white boys tradition of pretending it's darker pigment people are the problem, or doing something wrong. It's always somebody with darker pigment, right? So, but the fact of the Boston Tea Party was it was, of course, no taxation without representation, but what that meant, the East India Company were also, they had, it was sort of like what we're dealing with now. The members of Parliament had shares in the East India Company, the British East India Company, and they decreed that there would be no tax on imported tea from the British East India Company, meaning that they were pricing the local distributors out of the market. And tea was a big thing. It's sort of like Starbucks, where people would go to the tea shops and hang out and talk about things. That's how, and trade pamphlets like Common Sense. The American Revolution began in those tea shops, where people discussed what the hell was going on and all their outrages and shared. We don't have to live like this. But that's why they threw the tea in the harbor. You get it? I mean, I know you guys get it, but you don't hear that in history class. Boston Tea Party, what the hell is that? It was the first $1 million act of vandalism against, the first in America. Against, let me rephrase this. It was a $1 million act of vandalism against the first transnational corporation that was strangling the American people. Still at it. Corporations are at it, but except now the American people, not us, the dummies, are, I guess, siding with the British East India Company. And it's unreal. It's unreal, the stupidity. I love history. It's interesting to me. It's fascinating. It's stories. It's like going to the movies all the time, reading and learning about the people that came before us. I don't know what's wrong with them. What's wrong with the Republicans? Read a book. They only have the attention span to read a meme that was generated from the Kremlin. There's oh my God. Okay, hold on. Let's continue. It's almost done. I'll probably get hit with a copyright at this point.
Statement to Inside Edition. Out of respect for our members' privacy, we do not comment on individual
Oh, shut up. We heard that again.
Erica hopes sharing her story makes an impact for the next person who needs life-saving treatments.
I want businesses to not have say over life-saving treatments.
Yeah. Me too.
I know it's a
Medicare for all.
And it's going to be
It's a stretch. It's a stretch. I get you, lady. I get it. Here it's a stretch because we're dumb. We have a lot of dummies like albatrosses around our national neck. And it's a stretch here. It's fascinating to me. Why is it a stretch? The entire world figured this shit out long ago. But it's a stretch here because greed is the only value. And we have an autocratic coup going on with a bunch of liars, dividing and conquering the people.
probably won't ever happen. But
Wait, she said what?
We all person who needs
for life-saving treatments have say over life-saving
Yes.
treatments.
All right. I'm sorry. I can't.
I know it's a stretch, and it's going to be
It's a stretch, she's saying, for corporations not to have say over life-saving treatments. That's where we are in the United States of Serfs and Lords. It's disgusting. It really is. It's not. I don't even have the words. It's gross. They're disgusting. It's vile how these people at the top of the food chain in the health insurance racket, how do they sleep at night? Well, I guess they sleep well because they don't give a shit. And we know that the top tiers of corporate America are filled with sociopaths. And that's where we are. And they're bribing politicians, corrupting government to make sure it stays that way. And don't worry, when we tip into fascism completely, they'll be doing great. They love that. They prefer it, actually. Yet again, on the corporate media, I heard somebody going, when the Republicans take control in November, as if it's a foregone conclusion. Well, keep repeating it. Keep repeating and keep saying it's a foregone conclusion. It's like it's happened already. When they take control of Congress, as they're discussing the January 6th committee and talking about all of just the goddamn treason going on within the Republican Party. And it's, next, when they take control, when the fascists who are spreading the big lie and are enabling a con man's autocratic coup, bringing it over the finish line because they want to line their own pockets. They're afraid to lose their cushy, phony, baloney jobs, pretending to represent the people. When they are successful in winning the election despite receiving fewer votes in a entirely rigged and gerrymandered and voter suppressed and who counts the votes kind of, political hacks count the votes kind of election. What? It's a foregone conclusion. They're going to win. Because we're just going to roll over and allow it all to happen. We're just going to accept it, right? That's what that is. It's learned helplessness. Keep pounding away at it. Keep saying it. And when it happens, the American people, you know what they'll do? They'll get up again and go to their 3 uniquely American low-paying jobs without any retirement security or benefits or living wages, and they won't say a goddamn thing. Except, they'll be, Mommy, I'm an oppressor. Mommy, I went to school today, and they said, Johnny, you're an oppressor. And these idiots will show up at the school board with guns, and they'll be like, my kids can't breathe. You know who can't breathe? Well, 1 million kids got COVID last week, in a week. So a lot of them can't breathe either. Well, here's something that is, in comparison. One woman here in the United States of Serfs and Lords has her story promoted by Twitter. Don't worry, guys. There will be a GoFundMe page. It'll be if it's not set up already, I'd be surprised. After this Inside Edition story about the repugnant, rapacious, disgusting insurance racket, after this story gets out there, I'm sure there'll be a GoFundMe page, and the insurance racketeers will be off the hook. And then the next story will be all about how the community pulled together and got this woman, got her the transplant she needed so she could see her kids grow up. In other countries, they don't have to do this shit. They don't have to come up with a video or get interviewed by Inside Edition and have them promote the story and then set up a GoFundMe page and hope and pray. And in the middle of your cancer or whatever treatments, just trying to stay alive, with the stress, in between the stress of this, you don't have to worry about that. In other countries, the worry is, are there enough transplants? Become an organ donor. That's really the bottom line. It's not, hey, can you cover this shit? 'Cause somebody got to get paid, bitch. Someone in the 1% who's probably out right now playing golf without a mask or something, jerking himself off, talking about Trump and how much the American people are suckers, divided and conquered suckers. He's laughing all the way to the bank, with that big chomping down on that big cigar like it's his own phallus. Well, it's like it's Trump's phallus. Well, here's a story from January 1st. In fact, BBC News, liver transplant patient urges others to consider the donor list. A liver transplant patient who received her life-saving new organ for the new year has urged people to consider joining the organ donor register. Lisa Woodcock from Exmouth, Devon, Exmouth, am I saying that right? Said she now lived for her donor. Miss Woodcock was given a new liver in October after being diagnosed with an aggressive form of primary biliary cholangitis, an autoimmune disease. The NHS Blood and Transplant said 436 patients were awaiting life-saving organ transplants in the south of England. Miss Woodcock said before her operation, her family did not believe she would survive into the new year. I feel amazing, she said. I am so grateful and so happy. Isn't that I'm good for her. Good for her, you lucky bastard. You're lucky enough. Your grandmother didn't get on a boat and come to this country with her pregnant belly and have my father the anchor baby. You're lucky. Because if I was living in England, I'd be looking at this shit like, wow. These Americans are dumb. They're dumb as rocks, and they're not as interesting. So Ms. Woodcock says, she continued, I think my donor is phenomenal. It is amazing that they and their family supported organ donation. It's the greatest gift, and they are my heroes. She added, when it comes to organ donation, people need to think, what if I became poorly and needed help? Would they accept an organ for themselves or someone they love? And if the answer is yes, they should think about giving too. You see the frame here? It's not, you got money, bitch? Pay up. F you, pay me. Your money or your life. You want an organ? Oh, I want to pay no taxes. I'm sorry. Maybe you can beg your lord or some. Oh, well, you can't. We're not officially a feudal. Neo-feudal corporate state. Yeah. But shh. Beg somebody. Beg a billionaire. Beg Bezos. He went to see the big blue marble. He knows how we're all connected. And you see, if that woman dies, and I hope she doesn't, she leaves behind grieving husband, grieving children, and a grieving community, grieving friends, grieving family. Everybody's touched. And what does that do to society? It ripples out. And they walk around. It's like, nobody gives a shit. This is unnecessary. It's unnecessary suffering for the sake of greed. Oh, God. I see we have Russians in the chat again. Thank you, Haiku, for taking care. Unreal. What's up with that? All these Russian bots, I guess. Well, it's like how Twitter puts all the conservative assholes at the top of the feed. So that's the first thing you see. They're all over the place. So she says, well, the article continues, the law around organ donation changed to an opt-out system in England in May 2020. Oh, I could imagine that was some conservative scumbag did that. Right? Or somebody saying, I believe my sky spook wants me to be buried with all my organs, like, so we can all rot together while people who are living needlessly die. Yes, I am an organ donor. The only stipulation I had, in fact, I had to fill out a form. It was sent to me by the state of New York. And because when I got my license renewed, I was always an organ donor. But they sent a form on top of it. And I had to fill out what my restrictions were. And the only restriction I had was, I don't want to be part of the bodies exhibit. That's it. That's a whole other story. We know the bodies. I mean, that's so creepy to me. And there's, I guess, I don't know if it's speculation or it was confirmed. Those are bodies those are human beings that had no choice in the matter. They are Chinese prisoners that were sold. This is what, I can look that up, but I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. That's my only stipulation. That's all I need to be like catching a football for eternity. No thanks. Right? I don't need that shit today. Up to 42% of the UK population have registered their decision on the NHS organ donor register. The NHS Blood and Transplant said. I guess that's their title. Anthony Clarkson, Director of Organ and Tissue Donation and Transplantation at the NHS Blood and Transplant, something. That's the name of it. It seems weird to me. NHS Blood and Transplant. Shouldn't it say NHS Blood and Transplant Society? Or, I don't know. Okay, there are still thousands of people who are still desperately hoping and waiting for the transplant that will transform their life. Please take a moment this new year to let your family know of your organ donation decision. Those conversations could help save lives. Oh, well, you might have to think about somebody else. You might have to think about somebody else but yourself. And we don't do that here in the United States of Serfs and Lords. We've been trained by the for-profit ghouls, the billionaires who own the millionaires, who tell the plebs that their problems are because of people lower on the ladder. They don't talk about that. They talk about freedom, the freedom to be a douchebag. The freedom to carry an assault weapon in Walmart. Because you're scared. You're scared to go and pick up that dead carcass, that animal carcass you want to shove in your gullet without thought. They're scared. And regardless of what they do to the community, right? everybody else has to deal with them, the cowards. We all don't worry about everybody who is scared in the supermarket when the douchebag walks in, and it's like freedom. So we all have to wonder: is this fucker gonna open fire? Oh, don't worry. Little Johnny and Sally will instinctively know to run, duck, and I don't know what they'll do. They've been learning about what to do in a live shooter drill. So if you're at Walmart or you're at your local supermarket and a douchebag with an AK-47 walks in, look to your kids and say, "What do we do? What do we do? Do we say quiet under this display of legs pantyhose? Or do we fight?" That's one of the things, right? For live shooter drills, you either you confront ABCs, right? That's what I remember. Hold on. Live shooter drill. Is that it? ABC? The active shooter brochure. It just came up. Look at that. The NYPD. Why am I talking like that? I don't know. Just being silly. That's not it. That's Ivanka. That's Ivanka's side boob. NYPD. Oh, yes. That's what it is. Avoid, barricade, and confront. Evacuate the building immediately if it can be done in a safe manner. Do not carry any personal belongings. That's when the billionaires come down from the executive offices and rifle through your shit. Barricade. If it's possible to do safely, move to a central and secure area of the building. Locate an area with ballistic cover. Okay, what the fuck is... I mean, I was in the military. Ballistic cover? This is what we got to think about. Anybody got some ballistic cover? I don't know. I have some chapstick. No. It's ABC. Which part are we up to? Is it... Are we on avoid or are we on a confront? I don't know. What do we do? What do we do, Johnny? Mommy, I'm an oppressor. I don't know. Mommy. What do we do? Is this confront or barricade? I think it's... Mommy, I think it's avoid. I'm an oppressor. I don't feel right. I felt weird when... Because somebody was like, America is a racist nation, and I was like, I'm an oppressor. Shut up about this. We're in the middle of a live fucking shooter situation, Johnny. Mommy, I'm an oppressor. Wait till I get older, Mommy, and I can oppress you. Fine, you little taker. I've been waiting since I birthed you in the back of my pickup with Lauren Boebert. Been waiting for you to get out there and pull your weight. Now, Johnny, get out there and confront. Mommy, you're an oppressor. Get out there. Mommy, hello? Hello? Are you, I'm an oppressor too. I'm just here looking for some, for a six-pack, I don't know. Yeah, I'm just here making sure nobody's wearing masks. Mommy. That's where we live. It's for real. That's where we live. It's not even a joke. I'm thinking about it's traumatic. We all have PTSD, by the way, this whole country. And I'm thinking about, I saw that video, one of the one of the latest or newest massacres, and it was at a supermarket. And there was a video. And somebody, one of the victims was in front of the door. And it's one of these images that have stuck in my mind. And I'll just be going about my day sometimes, and I think of it. And it's so disturbing because that poor woman, she went to the store. She wanted to go to fucking supermarket. Excuse me, I know. She wanted to go to the supermarket and pick up something, God knows. And she confronted, just walking, just by the bad luck, being at the wrong place at the wrong time, walking into a supermarket. What, do you think you're going to be shot? That's what's so vile. It really is. And the country accepts that. They accept that death of someone who just went to the supermarket and turned the corner, and there was some fucking idiot that Republicans armed. Excuse my language again. And let loose on society. You know why? Because they want us to be afraid, suffering from all forms of PTSD. They like that. They want you to be on your toes. When you go to the supermarket, you got to be on your toes. Really, right? That's what they want, because it creates the atmosphere. It lays the groundwork for the coup. And it just goes back to greed. Greed. That's it. Greed is that's the only American value. And I'm sick of it. If I ever got to speak to Joe Biden or was able to ask him a question at a town hall or something, that's what I'd ask. How much longer do we have to endure greed as the only American value? And I'm sick of, we were talking about it yesterday in the show, I'm tired of the propaganda pieces on corporate media about how great America is. It's pathetic. Enough. And I realize my entire life, you've seen it too, we've all seen it and been subjected to it, the constant, every now and then, well, I guess, it's just we woven in the fabric of this country. It's, I'm proud to be an American. It's constant. We're the best. We have the greatest country. What's, really? Really? Right? Really? 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 Is it great? How is it great when 80% are living check to check? What, is that great? And then, of course, we hear corporate media mouthpieces saying, oh, economy's going great. Economy's great. Is it really? It's going great, as it always goes great for the 1%. And when it doesn't go great for the 1%, they come back for more. On our backs. We bail them out nonstop, constantly. Do you think they ever had a bad day in the pandemic? Did they ever have a bad day in the Great Recession? No. They certainly gave a lot of people a bad day and a bad, God knows, kicking people out of their homes, siphoning their last dollar out of their life savings. I mean, that in itself is disgusting. You think you work your whole life. And what are you going to do? You're 65, you're 75. You know, what are you going to do? Go back to work? Yeah. It breaks my heart. I see older people. I mean, maybe people want to go and, get out of the house, make a couple of bucks. But in many cases, that's not the case. They're not doing it by choice. They're doing it because they have to. They would much rather be on the golf course themselves, I think, right? But don't you think that's a failure of the system? It certainly is. Right, Haiku. But they need yachts, Tara. They do. Right, it's sad. They need yachts. They need to be able to look down from the ivory tower and spit on the rest of us. I saw somebody. Where is that? Just talking about Tara Jr. Jim, that's IC producer. That's his name. He's cute. Hi, producer. I don't want to encourage him. He might come over and start stepping on the keyboard. Oh my goodness. But brace for the red tsunami. It's a foregone conclusion. Okay. We'll keep talking about this, of course. And, well, one good news, we know that, well, it's not that good because, Stephen Breyer's retiring. Good. Okay. But here comes the fight. Right? Here comes, it won't matter who he nominates. And here's what's so vile, and it speaks volumes about the Republicans. All day on Twitter, Candace Owens is trending on Twitter. I think, is it still? I'm looking. Because Joe Biden promised, he promised to nominate a woman of darker pigment. With darker pigment. He promised to nominate her, a darker pigment woman to the bench. Because, it doesn't matter what she's for. I remember that in the debates. I'm sure you remember, too. When they asked Bernie the same question, he was like, it depends on what she's for. What she stands for. Or he. I'm not going to commit to somebody of darker pigment. Because what does it matter, really? Why don't you could get Candace Owens. Put Candace Owens on there. Put Diamond and Silk, why don't you? Why stop at Candace? Get two for one. They can act like one justice, because it doesn't matter. They're just a vote for autocracy. We know which way they're going to vote. This is about fixing the facts around the policy. Candace Owens? It goes to show you how much Republicans hate this country. I wouldn't put Candace Owens in charge of my cats for a weekend. Because I love my cats. You don't put people in charge of things that you know are, that you love, what am I saying? You don't put losers, hate mongerers, underwhelming grifters. You don't put them in charge of things that you love. And you certainly don't put them in charge of America. You don't put their friggin' horribleness on that they sit up there and lord over us, these horrible people that have no honor and integrity. But it goes to show. It's an example of how much Republicans hate America. It really is. Look what they did to the court. Why doesn't Joe Biden, why doesn't any of the Democrats say, that's what the Nazis did? I hate to tell you. You know why? Because they want the Republicans to be nice. If they're nice to Republicans, maybe Republicans will be nice. Even though they're exactly following the Nazi playbook. That takes a page right out of it. Right out of it. And that's why it's offensive to me when I see a young man's headstone that says Normandy invasion. It's just, it is enough to make you weep. It really is. Shadow Star A says, getting dangerous in New York with open carry. It's not here yet. Oh, is it? Did something happen? Did I miss something? That's what they're deciding on, the scums. But actually, I heard on Tom Hartman today something good. If you were listening to Tom's show, you might have heard that too. Where is this? San Jose, yeah. I think this will happen here. I bet if the Republicans pull their dirty tricks and turn New York City into Dodge City. This is what they want. They don't give a shit. They don't care that the people of New York don't want that shit here. We don't. They want to inflict their manias on the society. It's autocracy. It always was. It was just a little bit under the covers. Now they're letting their fascist flags fly. San Jose passes the first U.S. law requiring owners to get liability insurance and pay an annual fee. Makes sense, right? If you got to take a driving test, you have to prove that you are proficient, that you're capable enough to drive a car. You have to register the car. You have to prove you have insurance in case you get into an accident. What's the friggin' difference? Right? What's the difference? Oh, freedom! City voted, San Jose, California. This city voted Tuesday to require gun owners to carry liability insurance and pay an annual fee in what's believed to be the first measure of its kind in the United States. Of course, the NRA is crying. And if they're crying, that means we're doing it right. The San Jose City Council overwhelmingly approved the measure despite opposition from gun owners who said it would violate their Second Amendment rights. You know what? Join the well-regulated militia, a.k.a. National Guard. Do it. Oh, you can't. Oh, I get it. It takes work. That would be work. Right? It would take a commitment. It would take, well, you probably can't pass the PT test. We know that. It would take work. Jesus. And they promised to sue. Go for it, booby. The Silicon Valley city of about 1 million followed a trend of other Democratic-led cities. And that's how you write it, by the way. Corporate media, not Democrat-led cities. Or Democrat, he votes Democrat or she votes Democrat. No. The name, it's very simple. The name of the party is Democratic Party. Democratic. How hard is this? I hear this on corporate media all the time. He voted Democrat. Back to you, Chuck. The Democrat-led cities. Oh my God. That's how right-wing assholism seeps into our whole world and destroys it like a virus. That's a pejorative. They must be laughing. We know Lee Atwater was ashamed of his of his traitorous antics against the country, doing his part to divide and conquer the country. But none of them, the rest of them, please, they don't care. This is the point. We even have the mainstream media on CNN saying Democrat cities. It's so funny. Uh-oh. He's coming over, Junior. There he is. He's getting down off the... Don't look at him. I know what he's doing. Oh, he's doing it. He's going to make the round. He's going to do the loop around. And he's going to come up right here. Okay. Where is it? Silicon Valley, about 1 million, followed a trend of Democratic-led cities that have sought to rein in violence through stricter rules. But while similar laws have been proposed, San Jose is the first city to pass one. Nice. Did I tell you? I know this. I just know him. I know him like I know myself. I've been to Paradise. There I go again, not talking into the mic. What is going on with me? I've been to Paradise. That's not even the tune. But I've never been to the... Look at him. Look at him. He is cute. Uh-oh. He wants me to pet him. Here we go. What do you think? How's that? Is that good enough? Ow, he said. He speaks English. I wish he would say mama. If he said mama. I tried to convince him. I told you that. I was like, just say mama and we are golden. Just wait till I get it on tape. Say mama. 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 He's cute. And if you're on the chat, on the podcast, I'm very sorry you couldn't witness the cuteness. Holy shite, on a bike. Right? I know, right, Junior? I'm trying to find you. Guys, I lost you in the sea of browsers. What? Where is everybody? Thank you, JD, for your super chat. What just happened? This is weird. All of the other super chats disappeared. Why? Is this thing on? It's still going, right? That's weird. I just want to show you guys. Look at that. All the other super chats that were there in the list disappeared. And now the only one is JD. And JD says, evening all. Nice to see you, JD. Thank you so much for your super chat. I don't know where the rest of this... I hope I didn't miss anybody. I know there were others coming in. I don't know what happened. Peekaboo. Okay. Oh, look at that. Shadow Star Ace says, Kaya saw Junior on the TV screen and started barking. What do you think of that, Junior? Uh-oh. Don't encourage him. Bing-a-dong-bong. All right. Hold on a second. What time is it? Wow. Time is flying. I want to have a show every day. Isn't it sad? It's very... I am having a show tonight because I think I was... If I didn't have a show, I would be very depressed, I think. Because I need you guys to keep me on the straight and narrow here. Keep me out of my mind, in a way. Because if I didn't have a show, I would be sitting, festering, probably. And running things through my mind. And it would not be good. Through my mind by myself, I should say. We're still running things through the mind, but I just wanted to watch it. I saw this before. We can watch it together. I didn't watch it, but I saw it pop up before the show, and it's from CNN. And the title was Civil War Expert Reacts to Trump Supporter. And let's watch it.
Marked how easy it is to make people believe a lie and how hard it is to undo that work again. Mark Twain was right. More than a year since Trump left office, the big lie has only gotten bigger. As CNN's Donnie O'Sullivan shows us, it's taken on a life of its own.
What you're seeing and what you're reading is not what's happening.
Wow.
Former President Donald Trump's relentless attacks on the truth has eroded faith in American democracy and its institutions.
You don't trust the election officials?
Nope.
You don't trust the FBI?
Nope.
You don't trust the courts?
Nope.
Who do you trust?
Trump and his supporters and anybody
Look at these idiots.
that when I listen to them talk, they don't turn my stomach with the disingenuousness.
Wow. How do you know what's disingenuous or not when you're completely ass backwards and you're living on Earth 2? I don't trust the FBI. She doesn't trust anyone who that con man said shouldn't be trusted, because those are the accountability. The FBI are after. Why can't I talk? You know what I'm saying. Let's just play it. For some reason, words are hard tonight.
Do you have trust and faith now in American democracy and American elections?
No. I mean, I think whoever wins, wins. I'm all about that.
Right.
He will win if he runs again.
Look at look at her.
But the people that know that we were cheated
You're not cheated. Oh, I'm sorry for screaming. No one cheated you. You cheated us by putting that scum-sucking con man in the catbird seat of power in this sad-ass, broken-ass, kiss-up, kick-down, fake democratic republic that was already suffering from division and hanging by a thread. You did that, traitor, and he received fewer votes the first time and the second time. I could see why you're confused. They're used to receiving fewer votes and being the so-called president, despite that fact.
almost at the point of saying, I don't want to vote because it'll happen again.
Yay! Don't.
What's your reaction to a hearing from an American like that?
Well, 10 years ago, it would have been shock and disbelief. And I would have thought, well, she's an outlier and she's not representative of anything larger than a fringe movement, maybe. But of course, that's not the case anymore.
Barbara Walter is a professor at the University of California in San Diego. She has studied civil conflict for years, from Yugoslavia to Northern Ireland.
Experts who've studied civil wars and know the warning signs, we've been talking about them, but nobody wanted to believe it. And January 6th made it impossible to deny.
Nobody wanted to believe it, but we were, I know I was, I know Robin was, and Mike Malloy was, talking about it for years and referencing the historical correlations, including with the Nazis. But then, of course, we were all Godwin's laud.
And ignore that there really was this cancer growing in our own country. There was a threat that was mobilizing.
She warns the constant barrage of lies undermining American elections from right-wing media, on social media, and from Trump himself has put the United States on a perilous path.
Citizens do believe what they are hearing, and if they hear it long enough and consistently enough, and if that's all they hear, they absolutely don't think it's a lie. They think it's the truth.
Will you trust the next election?
Probably not.
Well, maybe don't vote. What's with the fashion abortions, guys? Really? What is that shirt she's wearing? Is that something that says something? I'm sure it's along the lines of "Let's go, Brandon" or something, because they're such good Christians. It's incredible. And I'll answer the question. You know it. The reason they wear the fashion abortions with the red, white, and blue and crap is because they're not patriots. All right, it's like a closet case, acting like he's all whistling at people, acting all heterosexual and stuff. They really go over the top with it. That's him, and that's the rest of them too. They have to make up for their lack of patriotism. They hate America. They're not only do they hate it, they're confused by America. They hate the very foundation of America, the immigrants, the nation of immigrants, the e pluribus unum. That's what they hate. All right, I got to put him back. Oh my God, he was so good. He's good all day until the show starts.
But that's a terrible thing, right?
Oh yeah, it's a terrible thing.
I don't think you can trust our government anymore. It's sad that
You're
really
sad. Let's go, Brandon hat, guys. You scum. Unpatriotic scums.
Trump is all about making the elections in the future
You're
fair, so
you're
we
a
can believe
sucker.
when you vote for somebody, that person's going to get your vote.
You're a sucker.
They're good people. They're trying to do what they think is right. It's the leadership that's cynical. It's the leadership that knows better.
That's the truth. That's how you know we're in big trouble.
They always talk about the big lie. They're the big lie.
Well, just
Big
30%
lie.
of Americans think there is solid evidence that there was widespread fraud in the 2020 election. 62% of Republicans say so. Looking ahead to the 2022 midterm elections, only 42% of Republicans say they're somewhat or very confident the results will be counted accurately.
They're priming their supporters to believe that democracy
Oops, sorry,
isn't worth
what'd I
defending
do?
Because they don't want democracy
Way to go.
anymore.
Sorry, guys.
And Donnie O'Sullivan joins me now. Donnie, great piece as always.
I want to stop it, but I can't find
when
it.
you talk to these Trump supporters, do they have any ideas for an alternative to democracy? I guess maybe it's dictatorship.
Maybe.
Trump dictatorship.
Yeah, Jim, I mean, we've spoken to...
Maybe. Do they have an
hundreds
idea
Trump
of what's an alternative? It's maybe it's autocracy. Maybe. I don't know. They haven't figured it out yet. What do you think it's going to be? Is it going to be a republic? Just a strict republic? Is it going to be a strict democracy? One person, one vote? Well, one man, one vote for them. Is it going to be... what do you think? What kind of country are they making? I don't know. Can you tell? What do you think it'll be? Let's go out on a limb here. Corporate media.
It's a Trump dictatorship?
Yeah, Jim, I mean, we've spoken to, I guess now hundreds of Trump supporters all across the country over the past year and since the election. And, we have heard from people along the way when there was a coup happening in Myanmar last year, people Americans, Trump supporters looking to that, saying, oh, that would be great if we had that happen here and Trump was put back in power. What I did notice being at Trump's most recent rally in Arizona a few weeks ago was, we spent so much of the past year hearing fantastical claims about Venezuelan voting machines and bamboo paper and everything else, and that's how the election was supposedly stolen. The messaging seems to be a little bit more disciplined now, and we're hearing less and less of that from people, and more support, more just straight support for those restrictive voting measures that our Republicans are putting in place at the state level. So what we're seeing now is the base has been laid where there's all these conspiracy theories. People truly believe some of them really truly believe the election was stolen. Some of them know it's a talking point and know better. But some people, I think, as you saw in that piece, people literally draped in the American flag, believing this kind of stuff, and that is now they're giving their support to these kind of restrictive measures we're seeing across the country.
Well, thank you for what you do, Donnie. It's I hope.
And not just restrictive. These are barriers that are making it impossible for some people to register. It's disgusting. And then, of course, who counts the votes? Oh, God. I believe I can fly. I can believe I can touch the sky. Everyone wants a bit of boop, boop, beep. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. That's what that's the kind of show I want. That's what's going to happen one day. I'm just going to crack up. And then it'll be like, I believe I can. Maybe when I'm in my old age home, if I make it. Nothing's guaranteed. I see it's so weird. I'm looking at the feed. And it's a lot. There's a really long delay. I don't know why. I'm looking at things I said like 30 seconds ago coming up. Okay, whatever. I don't care. I believe I can fly. Why is this frozen? Is that what happened? Did something freeze? Okay, we're still going, right? Junior supervising. Look at him. What a bastard. He's like a real douchey boss. Look at that. Just staring at you, feeling disappointed. So anyway, as far as the Supreme Court, it's going to get worse, of course, and get ready. It's already begun. The talking point of, if Joe Biden really wants to unite, he should pick somebody that the Republicans want. He promised to be a uniter. He promised. He didn't unite us around fascism. He's not uniting us around the autocracy. And that's just too much. He's going too far left. If you're not a full-on fascist, you're just a too far left. Too far left. Too. Yeah, on the Twitter talking about. Okay, somebody just knocked something over. Amy Coney Barrett. Reminder, the GOP Senate confirmed Amy COVID Barrett to the Supreme Court barely more than a week before the 2020 election, okay? Because it's already the whine. Hey, the midterms are coming. Let's wait and see. Let's see if the American people want, because they want fascism. And when we get it, we need more unqualified loyalists on the court so they could nullify democracy. That's what they're there for. That's what the Republicans are doing. And all the way, all the time, all through the Obama years, when Barack Obama was trying to play nice with these pricks, we heard, if he just nominated somebody that we could all get around. Can't we all just get along? Right? If they only nominated somebody like Merrick Garland, as Lindsey Graham said, we'll be able to support him. Suckers, this country, a bunch of suckers. Oh, I'm so sick of it. I really am. I'm so sick of it. Yeah. Okay, what am I looking at? Hold on. Let's hold on to what we got. Oh, this is fun. A couple of things. This is what we're going to talk about. And there's many things. Oh, I have to plug Friday. We're going to have a guest, not a famous person, but someone who is a singer and involved with the New York City Labor Chorus. I thought that might be nice. Oh, restream chat quit unexpectedly. That's not good. I hope nothing happens. Hope it doesn't. Hope the show keeps going. So we'll have, his name is Jeffrey Vogel. We'll have him on just to talk about the New York City Labor Chorus, which is really cool. It's a chorus of a bunch of people that get together. They sing songs about labor and labor history, and they perform. They haven't been performing as much during the pandemic, but they commemorate or remember the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire. Every year there's a vigil at the location, and it's really a shock and not a shock. It's a sadness that the dumbasses who we share the same air with know nothing about the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire and how people died, so we can have a 8-hour work day and weekends and whatnot. It all began there. And it's funny. Maybe I'll play this. I don't know. My show should be on every day. I don't know if you agree. The only reason I'm saying this is because I have so many things planned and what we want to talk about. It's just never enough time. Well, I'll just speak about it rather than go looking for the video. But one of the heartbreaks of the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire, the fact that we are so far removed from it, and now we're going into a fascist coup, and labor rights are ridiculous in this country. And hopefully, I see there is a bit of a resurgence in the union movement, but not fast enough for me. And so here's the thing. So the people who worked at the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory, they were basically independent contractors too. Okay? That's why they said don't show. Well, first of all, there was no unemployment insurance at that time. But don't show up on Sunday, don't show up on Monday. Meaning, you don't have a day off. There's no day off here. You come in, or you don't come in at all. And they brought their own needles. They brought their own, what else? They had to, well, of course, they had to pay for every bit of fabric that wasn't accounted for. But they many times they had to bring their own sewing machines. And on top of it, the bosses would charge them for renting out needles, renting out the thread. I kid you not. And what does that sound like? It's like Uber. It's like, Insta whatever the hell, or whatever they use apps where they don't, wash your hands. They reap all the rewards and all the risks and the work and the responsibility. There's no unity. You're out there on your own, bub. Your car breaks down. Oh well, I guess you don't eat. You got sick? Maybe you need a transplant. Oh well. Go die. Because there'll be somebody driving up right behind you that will take your place. That's all we are. Might as well be Soylent Green at this point. But when I read that about the workers of the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory, I wasn't surprised, of course, but I was also saddened, and it was outraging, more than sad, that the American people don't know this. And we're back in the same boat. That all of those women who lost their lives, they didn't want to lose their lives. They were young. They came here from other countries, most of them. And they wanted the American dream. They were trying. to live the American dream. Of course, the American dream is being exploited. The American dream is there for anybody who can afford it, like health care. But they had to rent their own needles, the needles they used to make the shirtwaists that they were manufacturing. They had to rent them from the bosses for a fee. It was all taken out of their checks. So, just like we have today, where people are, treated like crap. And you're on your own. There's a new ad for Uber drivers on TV. I love my Uber driver. My son said, I need some wrestling shoes. And I said, okay, I'll be right back. And I went out and I drove and I got some money for his wrestling shoes. I love it. I'm my own boss. And I also have time to do my business, my own side business, what I want to really do. I could spend all my time doing that because I can go and drive on the weekends. This is what the ad says. So you could do your day job and your weekend job, because your day job won't pay you enough, and the weekend job gives you the freedom to get your son wrestling shoes. Why doesn't the main job afford you that ability? Right? What? We are beaten dogs, and honestly, the dogs bite back, at least. Eventually. Oh, look what I found.
The billionaire pitched a recession-proof opportunity
during
the economic downturn in 2009. The Trump network relied on participants to sell health supplements and other products person to person. Juliana Goldman is in Washington with how the business collapsed and caused some to lose thousands of dollars.
We're just taking a trip down memory lane.
Good morning. Well, the concept wasn't really
why I look for another article.
They have sold products through what's called multi-level marketing for years. Those at the top tend to reap the most benefits. One person recruits three friends, who recruits three friends, and on down the line. Beginner salespeople were told to buy a $497 starter kit of Trump products like these so they could get in on the soon-to-be billion-dollar business.
We thought it was going to take off. We thought they would go international.
Eileen and George Kelly.
Doesn't this sound like Trumpanzees? I thought they said it. They promised. I'm sorry. These people are victims of Trump. They're not idiots, but they're just unlucky dupes who believe the con man.
College professors who live in Florida.
They were selling hope there to a lot of people in the middle of a recession.
I was sold on the product and the message and the testimonials.
The message, the
and
testimonials.
Then, of course,
Donald Trump
honey.
The Trump network wants to give millions of people renewed hope, and with an exciting plan.
Shut up! Why are you yelling? Con man, the Trump network with that mouth. He will one day cross over to the other side, right? Can I be there? At least. I don't want him to outlive me. I can't handle that. Well, I'll be dead, but I want to have a good day one day. I need something to look forward to. The Trump network.
Opt out of the recession.
A reported
oh God. How did we fall so low? Where are the ghosts of the founders to visit these fuckers in the night? Jesus Christ.
Independent sales representatives bought the Trump network products and tried to recruit others to sell them too. But within 2.5 years, the recession-proof business collapsed. Eileen Kelly.
What a surprise. Guys.
As they lost $10,000.
I hate to see people taken in like that, like we were. I mean, we're educated people. It's almost embarrassing.
Donald Trump was the company's top recruiter. He traveled the country for 2 years promoting the scheme, including this 2009 launch in Miami.
I did The Apprentice. It was a long shot.
No, it wasn't.
This is not a long shot.
You're a con man, okay?
This is going to be something that's really amazing.
Trump sold his name and his brand for $1 million, according to a draft of the proposal from court documents.
Just $1 million. I thought he was a billionaire. I thought he was a billionaire and a successful businessman. Does that sound like the deal of a lifetime to you? Does it? Does that sound like a good deal? You're selling your name for $1 million? I thought you were a billionaire. $1 million is chump change. You think Jeff Bezos is, while he's jerking off in space, will put his name on some bullshit multi-level marketing vitamin scam for $1 million? I mean, I will. Put the devil in network. No, I wouldn't do that to my father's name and my mother's good name. I wouldn't do that to my ancestors. I'm sorry. I wouldn't embarrass them like that. I wouldn't shame them. I wouldn't shame them. I can't believe that Trump was lying. $1 million to have your name on this scam, and then you go and do all the marketing. You go to the events because you're a billionaire. God. You're a billionaire, right? That's what billionaires do. You don't see... Well, who else? Who else is a billionaire? You don't even see multi-millionaires doing that. Who would do that? Really? It's too much of a pain in the ass. It's too much of a risk. Why would you put your name on something like that? And then you have to travel to the launch, and it's the best, the greatest. I tell you, it's recession-proof. Who among the billionaires will do something like that? Come on, I'm hoping there are Trumpanzees passing through this. I really do. Right now, watching, because I want to do some cult deprogramming. Guys, you're in a cult. You're not patriots. You're stupid. I feel bad. Maybe I'm not a good cult deprogrammer. But we're all up to here with your antics. And I want you to watch this video of the con man, and I really want to ask you, what billionaire puts his name on a multi-level marketing vitamin scam? What? Any other billionaires do that for $1 million, no less, which is like lunch money? Come on, suckers. Come on. You're dupes. You're suckers. And I have other videos that we could show, and we've shown before, of when he attacked the residents in the New York City apartment building, the ones who are on Social Security, the fixed income residents. When he started a campaign of harassment against retirees. Scum. He's scum. And what does that make you? Really. What does that make you? I apologize for telling you the truth. It's hard. The truth will set you free, but it will piss you off first. It really will. I'm telling you, I know. It's hard to change. But sometimes you hit bottom. When at the end of the road, we find we can no longer live like a human being. with or without Trump. What is there left to do? Go on to the bitter end? Huh? Jails, institutions, or death? Really, that's what it's come down to. Or find a new way to live. Huh? Huh? Any chimpanzees in the room? Oh my God. Yeah, you can only decult with love, Haiku says. Well, I guess it won't work. Maybe the love, after a while, you're like, enough, I can't. I tried love. I can't. I try love on a two-way street. That's when I was a teenager, though. And left it on a lonely highway. Why? I like singing. Maybe I should join the New York City labor chorus. Because, well, I'm not. Jeffrey wants me to join. He keeps saying, join, join. I just have too much to do. I'm trying to do a daily show at a set time, but maybe I won't. Maybe I'll quit. That's what I'll do. And I'll join the New York City labor chorus instead of doing this show. What do you think? I don't know. I found love at the New York City labor chorus and left it on a lonely something. Hold on. Let's see. This was what I was looking for while I was singing. Trump. Forbes catches Trump blatantly lying about his net worth. By Carissa House Dunphy from the Bipartisan Report. It's no surprise to anyone familiar with Donald Trump that when he's caught in a lie. To anyone familiar with Donald Trump when he's caught in a lie. His inauguration crowd was not the most well attended in history. He didn't win the 2016 by the largest number in history. He's not the world's most successful billionaire. Businessman. Some of his lies, though, may be criminal, and recent court filings by investigators have a lot to say about Trump and his company. The filthy, disgusting Trump Organization, as it shall henceforth, forever and ever, amen, be called. One of the most surprising revelations that have come from the financial records filed as evidence from Attorney General Letitia James is who is in charge of the civil case against Trump. Oh, wait, well, why am I saying it like that? I'm reading it wrong. Letitia James, who is in charge of the civil case against Trump and his filthy, fascist, disgusting organization, is the amount of wealth the professed billionaire actually has. He's not a billionaire, we know that. I'm glad they said professed, because he's a con man. We just proved it. Or at least made it suspicious. It's telling. You don't pay off porn stars in installments if you're a billionaire. You don't put your name on a multi-level marketing vitamin scam that involves urine. That's what it is. It involves peeing in a cup with a Trump friggin' network logo on it. And then sent to Trump himself while he licks the spoon and tells you what kind of vitamins you want. That's really a telling statement. Tells you what kind of vitamins you want. That is really the Trump cult summed up. He tells you what kind of anything you want. How sad are you? You're disgusting. You're really sad. It's pathetic. You know what? The other thing I have to say is, are you tired, as I am, of checking in with the traders Yeah, we know they're traitors. But it's not just checking in with them, but having to be respectful to them in the conversation. To say, honey, you're full of shit. Here's the 80 court cases, some of which, and the bulk of which were dismissed with prejudice. The cases were dismissed with prejudice, which is the judicial equivalent of saying, get the fuck out of here. That's what it is. Get the fuck out of here with this crap. This is not a court case. You lost. You have no evidence. All you have are complaints. That's what they did. That was the their problem. In fact, this is what Giuliani said. Well, we wanted the court to do the investigation. They're so lazy. On top of being disgusting and criminal, they wanted the courts. That's what they said. Like, so this is how it is now, right? That's not the judicial system. I don't say, you know what? I'm gonna sue, and then you go to the court and say, yeah, court, can you muster up the evidence for me? That's not how it works, you douche. You douchey culties. Well, of course you don't know how it works. You don't know how America works. You hate it. So you're trying to turn it into something you can understand. And that's a big, white, daddy baboon trickling on you. Maybe in your mouth. I'm sure that's a fantasy of yours. A big, white, daddy baboon trickling all over you and some of it getting in your mouth. You love that. You're like, yes, yes. Freedom. Family values. Freedom and family values. Trickle it on me. Trickle it and let me say the N-word. Let me say the N-word and then I'll go to my shift at the local public bathroom where I'm on pee-pee patrol duty tonight. I want to see who's not just saying gay. I want to see whose pee-pee is where and if it's appropriately dressed for the pee-pee. And that's what makes freedom, man. That's freedom. When you're looking down people's pants. Where's your pee-pee? All right, check. That looks very suspicious, that pee-pee. Is it dressed like the pee-pee should be dressed? According to God and Jesus and Trump? In that order? Well, it's not in that order. Trump, God, Jesus. One of the most, I read this, the surprising revelations that come from the financial records is the amount of wealth the professed billionaire actually has. Former attorney and fixer, so-called fixer. I want a fixer. Why don't somebody be a fixer for me? Sick of this. Michael Cohen said in court that Trump often inflated his assets in loan documents and devalued them on tax documents because he's a piece of wasted dirt on your shoe. He hates America, hates the troops, because every time you cheat on your taxes, that's one less troop that has body armor. Well, what do you care? Because maybe when you can use their corpse as some kind of photo op. They all when they all showed up for the funeral of Pat Tillman. And they turned him into a hero, propaganda purposes, and he was killed by friendly fire. But don't tell the suckers. Republicans needed their corpse, their photo op, to pin a medal on someone who sacrificed their life. I don't think Pat Tillman didn't sacrifice his life for autocracy, did he? I guess he didn't realize he was doing it unwittingly, as I didn't either when I wore the uniform. Of course, I was never shot and killed. I wish, says the fascist. Oh well. I guess God loves me and hates you because, I mean, he made you such a dupe and a hypocrite. And according to Jesus himself, who I happen to know because my mother was a nun, I have a personal relationship, a more personal, because he's actually a blood relative in that sense. He's kind of like a stepfather. That the what was I? I went so off the train of thought. It'll come back to me. But Jesus, he told me that he hates hypocrisy. Oh, that's what I was going to say. That of all of the things in the world that he hates, hypocrisy is at the top of the list. And there's a whole thing in the Bible about it. That's why he said, go in your closet and pray. Don't take your stupid prayers out. And he made reference to all the conservatives, the conservative a-holes. They were the ones who let the money lenders or the money changers into the temple. That they were the ones. That's the conservatives. That's why Jesus was executed. He wasn't executed by the Jews, so to speak, or the Romans. He was executed by the conservatives. Just like Martin Luther King was executed by the conservatives. And Robert F. Kennedy, the first, not the junior, and who's a douchebag now. And pick a Malcolm X, pick a progressive, pick somebody trying to make the world a better place or make the country a more perfect union by challenging her to live up to her promises for everybody. Okay, let me get back. In the recent filings that Letitia James has a hold of, Trump's professed wealth in liquid assets. He said he's over. This is the way it's written. I should show you. It's a little bit disjointed. So it can't. I'm trying to not take full personal responsibility for the way I'm reading it. Trump's professed wealth in liquid assets. He said over the years that he's a billionaire. And at other times that he has $500 million in assets. And other amounts at other times, such as $93 million. According to Forbes, that makes Trump far from cash poor. He has less in the bank than many of his fellows real estate billionaires, and he also has far less than the fanciful sums he tried to peddle for Forbes. And according to the Attorney General, his own lenders and insurers over the years confirmed it. Trump's lies about his wealth and coming back to haunt him. In recent statements and filings by the Attorney General James, news that Trump lied on financial statements about everything from the price of real estate properties per square foot, but the square feet themselves. I mean, he's just a filthy liar and a cheat and a crook and a con man and also a greedy scumbag that these people are worshiping. You're worshiping a greedy scum. What would Jesus say about Trump? Disgusting. What's this? That's in 2021. Trump falls off the Forbes 400 for the first time in 25 years, but he shouldn't have been on it. That was a grift. On his 2004 balance sheet, released years later as part of a lawsuit, he put his liquid assets at about $230 million in June of that year. The balance sheets for 2011 and 2012, submitted for Congress in 2019 by former Trump lawyer Michael Cohen, showed a cash flow, or just cash, of $259 million. and 170 million, respectively. So which was it? Who knows? His 2013 balance sheet, also submitted by Cohen, listed cash of $346 million. A few months later, he told Forbes he had $500 million. Because, you know, he's making America great again. Oh, God, I don't know. I can't handle it. I cannot handle the corporate media plugging these Republicans, giving them the wind beneath their wings that they need to carry this fascist coup over the finish line. I can't handle it. And here's why. Well, here, they know they're traitors. They know that they are fascists. Madison Cawthorn's lawyer cites the Confederate Amnesty Act to defend the representative's job. So they're going back in time to the first Civil War, to the first bunch of traitors storming, killing the American people so they can own other human beings and have a fascist state that way. They hate democracy. They always did. They always did. And always will, until we put them in their place legally and peacefully. And that place is history's dung heap. Not even trash pile. Put them on the dung heap with the rest of the dung. Let's see, this is from Talking Points memo by Matt Schumann. A lawyer for Madison Cawthorn cited an 1872 congressional action granting amnesty for Confederate soldiers to defend his client's eligibility for office. He's a traitor. His lawyer wants a traitor in office. He wants him to keep his job. He wants the traitor to keep his job, so-called representing the people, so he can continue to call for violence against the legally elected democratic government that he hates. That's what he does. That's all he does. He's a troll. He's a filthy liar. Everything about him, just like Trump. That's why they're peas in a pod, all of them. They are liars. The origin story is a lie. Everything about them is a lie. The way he lost his leg, so to speak, he lied about that. He said he was paralyzed by a drunk driver. That is not true. Of course, it sounds better. It's a more sympathetic origin story than just, well, how did he lose it? I think he was the one who was drunk, right? And his friend tried to save him. And I think Madison, well, let me just look this up. Hold on. I told you I wasn't going long tonight, but I can't help it. That's what she said. Madison Cawthorn wasn't left to die in a fiery crash, says the friend who was driving. Brad Ledford said he is still close with the scum, known as Madison Cawthorn, the country's youngest congressman, because it don't matter. They put a toddler, a literal 72-year-old toddler, in the presidency, so-called presidency, as it was known, despite receiving fewer votes. Okay. On election night last November, Cawthorn gathered with his family and friends in anticipation of a victory that would make him one of the youngest pieces of wasted human DNA, aka so-called fake-ass congressman in history, and a rapid rising star in the filthy fascist GOP death cult. Madison Cawthorn, 25, was joined by Brad Ledford, who he'd known since childhood, and he introduced him and other to the attendees in effusive terms. This is the guy that saved my life. Okay, great. Ledford, now a 24-year-old CEO of his own beverage company, blah, 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 was worried about how the election would fall for his friend, but ultimately he said he was proud. I don't know what. He's like being proud of a big dump you take. Oh, and when my cats are, when I was training Tara Jr. to dump in the toilet, I'm like, good boy. That's what it's like with us, them, and Republicans. It's like the same thing. Good. I just want to get to the bottom of the story. Because he lied about it. I was left to die in a fiery crash. No, you weren't. No, you weren't. You lie about it. Like, I'm going to another article because that one is too long. From Refinery 29 by Danielle Campomore. It's safe to say that Republican Party is it's become the synonym for lying. Their former leader lied more than 30,000 times. Okay, we'll get to the bottom. According to the Washington Post from this weekend, while giving a speech at Patrick Henry College in 2017, Cawthorn lied multiple times about the 2014 car crash that left him reliant on a wheelchair. The Post said that Cawthorn claimed his friend who was driving at the time left him for dead. He was my brother, my best friend, and he leaves me in this car to die in a fiery crash, in a fiery tomb. Can you believe the filth that drips from these scumbags' mouths? Like, as if that's not being recorded and it's not going to come back to bite you. But it doesn't matter. The dumbasses won't believe the correction because they're propagandized. And everybody knows it. Cawthorn said he runs to safety deep in the woods and just leaves me in a burning car as the flames start to lick my legs and curl up and burn my left side. He's really getting detailed with the lies. He's a good liar, like all the Republicans. Some of them are bad, but it doesn't matter. Dupes believe it. Cawthorn also claimed he was pronounced dead at the scene, but of course that's another lie. Thanks to adrenaline and divine intervention, I definitely believe it was the latter. It was the latter, of course. I had a deep inhale of breath. Oh, thank God. Who would punch trees if you weren't among the living? Who would call for a bloodbath if Trump loses the next filthy, disgusting, rigged election? Who among us will take up your mantle? And and Marjorie Taylor Greene says, hold my beer. So, here we go. The problem, of course, is that none of that is true. According to the person he is disparaging, Brad Ledford, he saved Cawthorn's life. Isn't that disgusting? They're so gross. It was the exact opposite. He didn't run into the woods and leave you in a fiery tomb, you filthy prick. Ledford told the Washington Post, it hurt very badly that he would say something as false as that. Well, it hurts everybody. It hurts the whole country. All the falsehoods. That's not at all what happened. I pulled him out of the car the second that I was able to get out of the car. And according to a court deposition, Cawthorn claims he has no memory of the accident. And a police accident report says that that Cawthorn was incapacitated but not declared dead. Cawthorn launched his congressional campaign and has long relied on the fictional version of the car accident to reach his political goals. He has also claimed that the crash derailed his dreams of attending the Naval Academy. Another outright lie. Cawthorn was friends with former Representative Mark Meadows' son, Blake, and in December of 2013, he convinced Meadows to nominate Cawthorn to the Naval Academy via a process that enables a local member of Congress to recommend candidates. But Cawthorn's acceptance also hinged on his grades and other benchmarks, and prior to the car accident, he was rejected by Romero. He was rejected by the Naval Academy. But that's a little detail in your lie. Who needs? There's some truth in it. You applied, and you had somebody write a recommendation letter, but you weren't accepted because you suck. You're unfit. So Cawthorn said in a court deposition that he went on a spring break trip to Florida with his friend after his application was denied. Cawthorn has championed himself as a Trump-like candidate, and he has certainly lived up to the hype. For more than 30 former classmates of Cawthorn have told BuzzFeed News that they witnessed, experienced, or knew of sexual harassment and misconduct by Cawthorn on his Christian college's campus. In October, more than 160 former students of the same college signed an open letter describing Cawthorn's predatory behavior. It gets worse. He visited Adolf Hitler's vacation home, and in an Instagram post marking the occasion, described Hitler as the Führer. Okay? And there's a young man and many others right now, not too far from here, about 3 miles, lying in a cold, early77 years. Never got to be 25. So this prick could be elected to Congress after visiting Hitler's home and calling him Der Führer. I hate them. Okay. Well, he's a traitor, and we know it. They know it. His lawyer knows it. That's why. His lawyer is citing this 1872 congressional action granting amnesty to Confederate soldiers. Unreal. The argument from Cawthorn's lawyer, James Bopp Jr., that's his name, came in response to a legal effort to have Cawthorn declared ineligible for office because he allegedly encouraged and, upon reasonable suspicion, helped aid the insurrection. The legal challenge from a group of North Carolina voters backed by the organization Free Speech for the People alleges Cawthorn violated the 3rd section of the 14th Amendment that states, "No person shall be a representative in Congress who, having previously taken an oath as a member of Congress to support the Constitution of the United States, shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same." And what the hell is January 6th but an insurrection and rebellion against the Constitution of the United States? On the phone with TPM, Bopp says, there are substantial constitutional defenses, which include the fact that Congress passed the 1872 Amnesty Act. But is that in the Constitution? I don't think so. I don't think it was ever ratified by the states, was it? That you can be a traitor and still be a so-called representative, but to them, it doesn't matter who's in the seat, as long as they're a Republican and are good at creating dumb TikTok videos where they're beating trees up. That's all they have to do. You just got to be a troll when you're somebody across the hall in your place of work puts up a sign saying transgender rights or whatever, or puts up the trans flag, and you got to make a video of yourself going out and saying there are only 2 genders because the pee-pee patrol is here. And they're so tediously dumb. It's not even funny. And not only they're dumb, they're just immoral. I call them the immoral majority, and I hope it catches on. I'm giving the Democrats all of these great talking points and frames. I hope they listen. Well, okay, so although the Amnesty Act applied at the time of the Confederate soldiers, at the time to Confederate soldiers who fought in the Civil War, nothing in the law prevented it from being applied in the future, Bopp argued. There's nothing in the Amnesty Act that says it's only applicable to the Civil War. God damn you. There's, oh well. Sorry. Christ. You're traitors. Do we want traitors? An insurrectionist. Bopp argued that this lion prick's actions did not amount to partaking in an insurrection. Okay. He calls for violence constantly, this asshole. Bloodbath. Right? They all do, though. He's just particularly egregious, but they all do. That's really the truth. They all call for violence because they can't stand democracy. That's it. I wish Joe Biden would listen to this show. I really do. Couldn't he listen while they're getting him ready for bed? Just put it on and just say, stop with the entreating to traitors. You know, patriotic imperative. We're saving this country from an ongoing coup. How hard is that? Yeah, women say Madison Cawthorn harassed them at college. Cawthorn arrived at Patrick Henry College, blah, 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 Christian. BuzzFeed News spoke with more than 36 people, including more than 24 former students, who described corroborated instances of sexual harassment and misconduct on campus. In Cawthorn's car, at his house near campus. 4 women told BuzzFeed News that Cawthorn was aggressive, misogynistic, and predatory. Their allegations include calling them derogatory names in public in front of their peers, including calling women sluts or slutty, asking them inappropriate questions about their sex lives, grabbing their tights, thighs, duh. I blame my dyslexia. Forcing them to sit in his lap, pulling them down. How do you force somebody? And kissing and touching them without their consent. Well, thank God he was paralyzed, because he probably would have been a serial rapist. It's just not normal behavior. You don't do that. Normal people don't act like that. There's something wrong with them. Something wrong with him. You don't act like that. It's not normal. Absolutely. It's abnormal. One of these women now works as an intern for another Republican member of Congress and passes Cawthorn in the corridors of the Capitol, including 3 women who have first-hand experience, and 7 people have heard about these incidences at the time. Cawthorn often used his car as a way to entrap and harass women, taking them... He sounds like Ted Bundy. Did he ever show up in a cast and say, hey, can you help me with this? I'm sure I wouldn't be surprised. And he would take them taking them on what he called fun drives. Sick little prick. 2 said he would drive recklessly and ask them about their virginity and sexual experiences while they were locked in his car while it was swerving all over the road. I mean, sorry that you got into the car, but nobody gets into somebody's car and is taken on a joyride. That is just a sick person, you know? Who does that? Who says, "You want to ride?" And then you get in the car and they drive recklessly to throw you off balance, and you're like, what the fuck? And they're like, "Hey, you want to blow me? Have you ever blown anybody? Do you want to blow me? Do you want to eat out your friend? Do you want to, can I touch your boobs? Can I masturbate? Would you like to see my dick?" I mean, that's what they do. That's what it was like, I'm sure. And I whatever. That's who they are. Is that normal? That's normal behavior. Drive recklessly while asking them about their virginity and sexual experiences, locked in a moving vehicle. Sick. I realized he was taking me out to the middle of nowhere, said Caitlin Coulter, a former classmate who unfortunately went for one of these drives with him during a senior year. We were on these small, like 1 or 2 lane back roads, and I felt so uncomfortable and nervous, and not even something I think at the time I couldn't put my finger on, but I was feeling just like danger warning. This is a fucking serial killer. You make a mistake, you get in a car with somebody, and stupid, I mean, of course, that's a dumb mistake, but you shouldn't be murdered for it or raped. BuzzFeed News sent, especially when you're young people do shit like this. BuzzFeed News sent Cawthorn a detailed list of allegations. In this story, his communications director, this is where we live. A scumbag like Cawthorn has a communications director. And I'm here. Please become a patron. It always devolves into that. Mika Block did not respond to the specific allegations, but of course referred to BuzzFeed News that the young Republican had made during a campaign debate in September, saying, "I have never done anything sexually inappropriate in my life." Which you are a liar. "If I have a daughter, I want her to grow up in a world where people know explicitly to ask her before touching her." I mean, shut up. That's what you're thinking right now? I mean, you're thinking about touching your own daughter? Sick. "If I had a son, I want him to be able to grow up in a world where he will not be called a sexual predator for trying to kiss someone." Who said that? Oh, it's "you're a victim" again. Is that it? You're a victim. Is that what all you were trying to do, Maddie? When you put these, invited women into your car and then took them on a fun ride, so-called? I'm just trying to kiss them. Sick. And they make society sick. That's it. They're sick. They don't even have the decency to get help. They're sick. Cawthorn is 25 years old, the youngest member of Congress. Shut up. It's one of the markers of our decline. It's nothing to celebrate. Really, God, goes to show you that you could put up a turd for these fuckers with a Republican elephant in it, and they'd vote for it because that's what they got. Walking turds walking, treasonous turds walking. Cawthorn has made. Get ready. All right, I'll give you a minute. Has made his Christian faith the center of his political identity. Going so far to say to an interviewer with Jewish Insider soon after winning his race last November that he tried to convert Jewish and Muslim people to Christianity because he's a douchebag across the board. He's a douchebag on all levels. The Lord and the Bible and the value systems I've gotten through Judeo-Christian values, he said, it affects every single decision I make. He also posts often about his faith on Instagram. I guess that's between beating up half-dead trees. Like a dick. Oh, God. And sharing photos of the Bible and writing about how much prayer and the Lord uplift and guide him through life's battlefields. Yeah. Jesus Christ. You hear this shit? Oh, yeah, he is building an image of himself as a true patriot. True patriot. Because they're traitors. They're just goddamn traitors. And they have to be like, I'm a patriot. I'm a patriot. I'm a patriot. You see my hat? You see my gun? You see my red, white, and blue stupid shirt? You see... I'm a patriot. I'm a patriot. I have no idea what that means. I have no idea about being the decent person, much less a patriot. Fucking shit. All right, I'm looking at the time. Maybe we'll do a show tomorrow. I don't know. I do know I had more things to talk about. But I promised myself I was going to go to bed at a decent time because I'm still kind of, not feeling 1,000%. And I feel my throat a little. Hope I don't, whatever, I have COVID. Then at least you will never hear me say, please become a patron again. Look on the bright side. But there was other things I needed to talk about. We maybe. If I do a show tomorrow, we'll see. Will you guys show up? We'll see. Yep, Shadow Star A says, how are these guys not in jail? I agree. That's the baffling part. Whew. All right. I did have more to talk about. Okay, well, whatever. My friends, remember that on Friday we'll have a guest, a nice person who sings about labor history and whatnot. That'll be nice. So we'll talk about labor history in the United States and the stupid Republicans. Oh yeah, they're always at the top of the list. And all right. Maybe we'll have a show tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see how I feel. I'll try. If I get to bed early tonight, we can do a show. But, it all started because I got off track early with this photo. So it cut into the time that I should have used talking about the other thing I wanted to, because I wanted to talk about the title of the show. Republicans never miss the opportunity to divide the American people. And that's what's going on with their undoing mask mandates and Glenn Youngkin and setting people against each other. And it really needs to be framed like that. But, of course, the corporate media doesn't do it. They go for the both sides. Maybe I should I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll do a little video. I don't think I'll have the time, though. So maybe we'll do a show. I don't know. Don't hold me to it 100%. We'll see how I feel tomorrow. You're right. Shadow Star Ace. Rest is super important, Tara. I need it, especially with my fibromyalgia. I'm getting old, guys. You can tell. And I'm also getting crankier. And if that's even possible... Probably, Whatever. I'll talk about it with my shrink. Guys, we will win. Huh? Because we're on the right side of history. Well, that's true. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, and democracy. We stick together. We win. My name is Tara Devlin. This is my junior's junior. And I'll see you very soon.